Hello everybody and welcome back to Mask Reviews. Today I'm going to be making and reviewing a Batman mask. So before I begin, I just want to give a big shout out to NathanSellers at Instructables.com. He's the one who gave me the idea to make this mask because he has this tutorial, and that's what I'm doing. I am basing this mask off his tutorial. So let's go ahead and make it. So first I started off with gelling my hair down and then putting on cling wrap to make a makeshift bald cap. And of course I needed help, so my mom helped me. Then I started adding the plaster bandages to my head and face. And don't forget, before you do, put on Vaseline on your face and on your makeshift bald cap, just that way it can easily slide off your face when it's done drying. So then I added more layers to my face, of course, more layers of bandages. And also I'm sculpting out the chin a bit more. Hey! What do you know? Perfect. Very cool. Okay. Next, what I did was sculpt the form of the mask with foam clay, so that way you can get that Batman look, and you can sculpt it in any way. I mainly was trying to get the Dark Knight look or something similar to that. Yes, it's looking pretty good. It's got all the clay, pretty much all the clay that I'm going to use on it so far. But yes, I'm really excited. I added more foam clay to the sides so that way it can be a bit more smoother, and that way it just looks a bit more legitimate to the shape. So to make the ears, what we did basically was cut out 3 separate different shaped triangles, each for the curvature of the mask itself, and tape them together to make this. And you're going to set it on here, tape it onto here, and then put some plaster strips on it. So yes. Actually, I didn't have to use tape for the ears. All I had to do was just stick it on top of the foam clay and it got stuck pretty nicely. Then what I did was just add plaster bandages to the ears, that way it can get basically plastered onto the head, and it'll be one solid piece. Then I cover all the rest of the foam clay sculpting with the plaster bandages, so that way it can be one solid form. So next I sanded the mask just to smooth it out, and of course I basically just used sandpaper, and for the finishing touches I used a Dremel. And I also opened the eyes up a bit more so that way it looked more like Batman with the Dremel as well. And so far it worked pretty well. Make sure you use a tablecloth though, because it gets everywhere. All the dust from the plaster gets everywhere when you sand it with the Dremel. So I'm going to be coating the mask with Flex Seal and Rust-Oleum undercoating. I will start with the undercoating first and then the Flex Seal. So yes, let's do this. Alright, it's looking really good. Finished with the coatings. great. So for the final layer of paint, I added a coat of matte black acrylic paint, so that way it gets it a more solid look and not just shiny. So here it is, the Batman mask. It's finally finished and it looks great. I'm surprised about the final product, so let's get a closer look at it. So here's the Batman mask finally finished, and I'm very satisfied with the final product. This might be the most sturdiest creation I've ever made because the plaster just hardens very well, very nicely. It makes it a very solid build, and well, it'll pretty much last a while. So overall, I'm very happy with the final product. It ended up looking really great. One thing you may notice is that the eyes are different from when I first started by applying the plaster bandages to my face. And that's just mainly because I used a Dremel. I used a sanding bit on the Dremel to make the eyes a bit larger, make it look more Batman-y, if you know what I mean. So that way it just looks more realistic, and that really helped a lot. But overall, I'm just really happy. I know it's a little rough around the edges, but you know, it's smoother than it was when I first started. And you can see all the details right here from the foam clay just, you know, sticking out, which is very nice. I'm glad that the plaster bandages didn't, you know, cover up too much of it. You can see this right up here as well. Looks very cool. And this ear was kind of floppy when I was, you know, starting to apply the ears to the head. But after I used enough plaster bandages and Flex Seal, this thing stopped moving, and I'm very happy with that. So that means it's nice and solid. Makes it a nice, solid build. But enough talking, let's go ahead and put it on. Alright, balaclava first. That's mostly what I do on this mask reviews segment. Let's do the balaclava first, because this completes the effect of the chin, because I wasn't able to do the chin on the mask, and that's just because, you know, if I did it, you know, I wouldn't be able to open my mouth. But anyway, let's go ahead and put this on. Alright, so here it is, the Batman mask. This mask actually looks pretty nice once you put it on. It looks pretty good. The closest I can, you know, match it with is the Dark Knight. But yes, I hope this tutorial helps you to make your own if you have any plaster bandages, or if you want to get some. They're relatively cheap. And I will be leaving a link in the description for the original tutorial by NathanSellers. So I'm going to do a full turnaround, of course, like I usually do in these mask reviews. And one thing I will point out is that I will most likely be adding a strap at the back in the future, just so that way I can keep it on a bit more secure, move my head about a bit more. But other than that, I think the mask works out really great. It's nice and sturdy, looks nice, and it's great to complete any Batman costume you're making, any cosplay you're doing. So yes, I'm very happy with this one. This is, like I said, the most sturdiest build I've ever made. And it's really well detailed and everything else, so yes. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, like I said. And if you made the mask, then comment down below or post a video, because I'd like to see it. I think that'd be really cool. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. And, well, you'll see me in the next video. Goodbye.